You've spoken to yourself in moments no one else could hear, not always gently, not always with patience, and over time, those quiet words became the atmosphere you live in. You may not remember when it started, but your body remembers the tone, the tension, the constant need to be better. Most people believe self-talk is harmless, just thoughts passing by. Yet every word you say inwardly leaves an imprint. Your nervous system listens, your heart listens. When the voice is harsh, the body tightens. When it is kind, something inside begins to loosen. Slowly, carefully. Speaking kindly to yourself doesn't change everything at once. It changes the direction. The first thing that shifts is safety. Your inner world stops bracing for attack. Breath deepens, muscles soften. You begin to notice that you don't have to fight yourself to grow. There may be resistance at first. Kind words can feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable, when you've survived on criticism. But gentleness is not weakness, it is trust forming. Each compassionate sentence is an invitation for your body to believe it no longer has to defend itself. Something remarkable happens when kindness becomes consistent. Mistakes stop feeling like proof of failure. Rest no longer feels like guilt. You begin responding to life instead of reacting to it. The world doesn't suddenly change, but your experience of it does. Stay with this moment. Choose one gentle thought. Say it slowly, as if it matters, because it does. Every time you speak to yourself with love, you create a new beginning. This is where healing starts. This is where self-love begins. I want to begin by inviting you into a moment of simple noticing. Not fixing, not correcting, not improving, just noticing. There is a voice inside you that speaks when no one else is listening. It speaks when you wake in the morning, when you make a mistake, when you feel tired, when you succeed, and when you rest. This voice has been with you for a very long time, and it has shaped how safe you feel inside yourself. Many people believe that inner words are harmless, that they are just thoughts passing through. Yet the body does not hear them that way. The body listens carefully to tone. It listens for approval or disapproval. It listens for reassurance or threat. Over time, those quiet words become the atmosphere in which you live, breathe, and move. For many of us, the inner voice learned to sound harsh. It learned to push, to criticize, to warn, and to correct. Often, this voice was not chosen, it was learned. It may have come from adults who believed criticism would protect us, prepare us, or motivate us. And so we carried that voice inside, long after it was needed. You may have believed that speaking sternly to yourself kept you alert or responsible. You may have thought kindness would make you careless or weak. These beliefs were never meant to harm you. They were attempts to survive, to do well, to avoid pain. Yet over time, this inner harshness takes a toll that is rarely noticed at first. The body responds immediately to inner words. When the voice is sharp, the shoulders lift slightly, the breath becomes shallow, the muscles prepare for defense. When the voice is kind, even gently so, something softens. The body loosens its grip. The heart listens more closely. Many people live under constant inner pressure without realizing it. They may function well, achieve goals, and care for others, yet feel a quiet exhaustion that never fully lifts. This tiredness often does not come from doing too much in the world. It comes from being under constant inner judgment. I want you to know that this voice inside you is not who you are. It is a habit of thought. Habits are formed through repetition, not truth. What you have heard most often becomes familiar, and familiarity can feel like reality, even when it is not loving or helpful. When you begin to notice the tone of your inner language, something very important happens. You create space. You move from being inside the voice to witnessing it. And in that witnessing, choice becomes possible. You are no longer trapped inside the pattern, you are observing it. This is not a moment for blame. There is nothing wrong with you for speaking to yourself the way you learned. Compassion begins by understanding how patterns were formed. Harshness did not appear because you failed. It appeared because you adapted. As you listen now, I invite you to notice how you speak to yourself when you feel you are not enough. Notice the words, notice the tone. Do not argue with them. Simply listen. Awareness alone begins to loosen old structures. Kindness may feel unfamiliar at first. Gentle words may sound strange or undeserved. That discomfort is not a sign that kindness is wrong. It is a sign that something new is being introduced into a place that has long known pressure. I often remind people that the mind learns through repetition. If criticism has been repeated for years, it feels natural. When kindness is repeated gently and consistently, it too becomes natural. There is no rush. The body responds in its own time. You may begin with something very simple. You may say inwardly, I am willing to be kind to myself. This does not demand belief. It only opens the door. Willingness is enough to begin. As this willingness grows, the inner atmosphere begins to change. You may notice moments where you pause before judging yourself. You may feel a softening where tension once lived. These small shifts matter. They are signs that the inner world is listening. Speaking kindly to yourself is not about ignoring mistakes or denying growth. It is about creating a safe inner space where growth can occur without fear. Plants grow best in gentle conditions. So do people. Others may begin to notice something different about you. They may say you seem calmer, steadier, more at ease. This is not because you are doing more. It is because you are no longer attacking yourself from within. I want to reassure you that you do not need to change everything at once. You do not need perfect thoughts. You do not need constant kindness. Even a single gentle sentence creates a new beginning. As we continue together, we will explore what happens inside the body, the heart, and your daily life when kindness becomes a practice rather than an exception. For now, it is enough to recognize the power of the words you choose within and to know that you are allowed to choose again. Life responds to love. And every time you speak kindly to yourself, you align with that response. As you begin to notice the tone of your inner words, something very important starts to happen beneath the surface. The body begins to listen differently. For many people, the inner world has long felt like a place that must stay alert, prepared, and guarded. Kind words begin to change that atmosphere, quietly and steadily. Safety is not created by force. It is created by consistency. When the inner voice softens, even slightly, the body receives a new message. It hears that it may relax. It hears that it does not need to stay on watch. This is often the first true rest the body has felt in a long time. Fear lives where kindness is absent. When we speak harshly to ourselves, the body prepares for threat, even if that threat is only imagined. Muscles tighten, breathing becomes shallow, the heart braces. This state may feel normal if it has been present for years, but it is deeply tiring. When kind words replace criticism, the body responds immediately, even if the mind doubts at first. The shoulders drop a little. The breath deepens without effort. The nervous system begins to believe it is safe to be here. These small changes are not imagined. They are real responses to a new inner environment. I've seen many people begin to heal simply by changing how they speak to themselves. Not perfectly, not all at once, but consistently. Kindness repeated becomes reassurance, and reassurance builds trust. Trust is the foundation of all healing. Speaking kindly to yourself does not mean pretending everything is fine. It means meeting yourself honestly without punishment. When mistakes are met with understanding rather than attack, fear loosens its grip. Learning becomes possible. Growth feels less frightening. Many people tell me that when they begin speaking kindly inwardly, they feel emotional resistance. The old voice may say that kindness is foolish or undeserved. This resistance is not failure. It is habit responding to change. It softens with patience. As safety grows inside, you may notice that you react less quickly to life. Situations that once caused immediate tension begin to feel manageable. You pause, you breathe, you choose. This pause is not weakness. It is strength rooted in calm. Others may begin to notice this change before you do. They may say you seem steadier or more present. This happens because when you stop threatening yourself internally, your presence becomes more grounded. You are no longer fighting an invisible battle inside. Kind words also change how you treat others. When the inner voice is gentle, there is less need to defend, correct, or control. Compassion flows more easily outward when it is practiced inwardly. You may begin to speak to yourself in moments of difficulty with phrases like, "It is all right to feel this way," or "I am learning," or "I choose patience now." These words carry no pressure. They offer permission to be human. Repetition is very important here. The body learns safety through repeated experience. Just as it learned fear through repeated criticism, it learns calm through repeated kindness. There is no shortcut. There is also no rush. When safety becomes familiar, the heart begins to open. Emotions move more freely. Tears may come and go. Laughter may return unexpectedly. These are signs that defenses are lowering and life energy is flowing again. I want you to remember that fear was never your enemy. It was a signal that safety was missing. By speaking kindly to yourself, you are giving the body what it has been asking for all along. As we continue, we will explore how this safety affects the body itself, how tension releases, and how well-being becomes more natural. For now, it is enough to feel how kindness changes the inner atmosphere, creating a space where healing no longer has to fight to happen. Every gentle word you speak inwardly tells your body, "You are safe with me." And that message has the power to change everything. When safety begins to settle inside you, the body responds in ways that may surprise you. The body has been listening to your inner voice for every moment of your life. It has learned when to tighten, when to brace, and when to endure. When the heart finally feels heard through kindness, the body begins to trust that it no longer has to hold so much. For many people, tension has lived in the body for so long that it feels like part of who they are. Tight shoulders, shallow breath, clenched jaws, and tired muscles become familiar companions. These are not flaws. They are signs of a body that has been trying very hard to protect you. The body does not understand criticism as motivation. It understands it as danger. When inner words are harsh, the body prepares for threat, even if nothing is happening outwardly. When inner words become kind, the body receives a new message. It hears that it may soften. I have seen again and again that when people begin to speak kindly to themselves, their bodies respond almost immediately. Breathing becomes easier. Movement feels lighter. Rest feels more nourishing. These changes do not come from effort. They come from relief. The heart longs to be heard. When feelings are dismissed or judged inwardly, the body holds them instead. When feelings are acknowledged with kindness, the body can release what it has been carrying. This release often happens quietly, without drama. Some people notice warmth in their chest or a sense of openness where there was once tightness. Others feel tired at first, as though the body is finally allowing itself to rest. These responses are natural. The body is adjusting to a kinder environment. Kindness does not demand healing, it allows it. When the inner voice says it is all right to feel this way, the body relaxes its guard. It no longer needs to defend against its own feelings. Many aches and discomforts soften when the body no longer feels attacked from within. This does not mean the body is being forced to change. It means it is being given permission to return to balance. I want you to remember that the body is not your enemy. It has been responding faithfully to every thought and emotion. When you change the message, the response changes naturally. You may begin to speak directly to your body with kindness. You may say, "Thank you for supporting me," or "I am listening now." These words are not symbolic. The body understands tone and intention. As kindness becomes consistent, the body learns a new pattern. It no longer needs to stay on constant alert. It learns that it can rest even while life continues. This is a great gift. Others may notice that you move differently now. Your posture may soften. Your face may look more relaxed. These are signs that inner pressure is lifting. The body thrives in an atmosphere of love. When you create that atmosphere with your words, healing becomes a natural response rather than a struggle. In the next part, we will explore how this inner kindness changes your experience of life itself, how the world begins to respond differently when you stop being your own enemy. For now, allow your body to receive the kindness you are offering. It has been waiting patiently, and it knows exactly how to respond. When the inner voice becomes kind, life begins to feel different, not because the outer world has suddenly changed, but because you are meeting it from a new place. When you stop being your own enemy, you no longer approach life in a state of defense. You approach it with openness, and openness allows new experiences to reach you. For a long time, many people move through life expecting correction, disappointment, or judgment. When this expectation lives inside, it shapes how we listen, how we speak, and how we respond. Kindness towards yourself changes that expectation. You begin to meet each moment without bracing. I have noticed that when people speak kindly to themselves, their decisions become calmer. They pause before reacting. They trust their inner guidance more easily. This is not because they have learned something new, but because they are no longer drowning out their own wisdom with criticism. Others often sense this change. They may not know what is different, but they feel it. You may be seen as steadier, more present, more at ease. This happens because you are no longer at war within yourself. Peace has a way of making itself visible. When you are no longer threatening yourself for every mistake, learning becomes gentle. You try new things without the same fear of failure. You allow yourself to grow without punishment. This creates a quiet confidence that does not need to announce itself. Kindness also changes how you receive the world. Compliments are easier to accept. Opportunities feel less frightening. Challenges feel workable instead of overwhelming. This is not because life has become easier, but because you are no longer making it harder from the inside. Relationships begin to soften when the inner dialogue becomes loving. When you stop criticizing yourself, you stop expecting criticism from others, you listen more openly, you speak more honestly, you no longer need to protect yourself in the same way. Many people find that when they speak kindly inwardly, they feel guided rather than pushed. Choices arise naturally. Direction feels clearer. This clarity comes from trust in yourself and trust in life. I want you to know that this change does not require perfection. You will still have moments of doubt or impatience. When they arise, you meet them with the same kindness you are learning to offer everywhere else. This keeps you free. You may begin to notice that success feels different now. It no longer feels like proof of worth. It feels like a natural expression of who you are. And when success comes from ease rather than pressure, it is far more satisfying. Even rest changes. When you are kind to yourself, rest no longer feels like something you must earn. It feels like nourishment. You allow yourself to pause without guilt, knowing that kindness supports growth far better than strain. As you continue to speak lovingly to yourself, you may realize that life has been waiting for you to soften, not to weaken, but to trust. When you trust yourself, life meets you with the same trust. In the final part, we will bring all of this together, how living from kindness becomes a way of being rather than something you practice. For now, notice how your world feels when you stop being your own enemy. This shift is gentle, but it is powerful, and it changes everything from the inside out. As kindness becomes familiar within you, something very natural happens. You stop trying to manage yourself so closely. The constant effort to improve, correct, or push begins to fall away. In its place, there is a quieter strength, a strength that comes from trust rather than pressure. Living from love does not mean that life becomes perfect. It means that you meet life without attacking yourself along the way. You learn that you can grow without fear, change without punishment, and rest without guilt. This realization brings great relief to the heart. When you speak kindly to yourself, you give yourself permission to be human. Mistakes no longer feel like proof that something is wrong with you. They feel like moments of learning. This shift alone removes an enormous weight that many people have carried for years. You may notice that your inner voice now sounds more patient. It does not rush you. It does not threaten you. It reminds you gently that you are doing the best you can in this moment. This voice becomes a companion rather than a taskmaster. As this way of speaking to yourself continues, your emotional world becomes steadier. Feelings move through you without overwhelming you. You allow joy without suspicion. You allow sadness without judgment. This balance keeps your energy whole. Others may describe you as calmer or more grounded. They may notice that you seem more at ease with yourself. This is because when you live from love, you are no longer divided within. Inner harmony creates outer ease. You begin to trust your timing. You no longer feel the same urgency to fix everything at once. You understand that healing unfolds gently, guided by patience and repetition. Each kind word reinforces this understanding. Affirmations arise naturally now, not as something you force, but as something you feel. You may find yourself thinking, "I approve of myself," or "I am safe to be who I am," without effort. These thoughts feel true because they are supported by experience. Repetition remains important, but it no longer feels like work. Kindness repeated becomes belief. Belief becomes atmosphere. And atmosphere shapes every experience you have. When challenges appear, you meet them with steadiness. You remind yourself that you are supported. You stay present. You respond instead of react. This response protects your peace. I want you to know that self-love is not a destination you reach and leave behind. It is a relationship you build and return to. Some days it feels strong, other days it needs gentle reminding. Both are part of living. As you continue speaking kindly to yourself, you may realize something very important. You were never meant to live under pressure. You were meant to live in cooperation with yourself. Life responds beautifully to this cooperation. Opportunities feel more natural. Choices feel clearer. You move forward without forcing yourself. I invite you to carry this kindness into every moment, not perfectly, but willingly. When you forget, return gently. When you remember, celebrate quietly. Every kind word you speak inwardly is an act of healing. Every gentle thought creates safety, and from that safety, your life continues to unfold with greater ease, clarity, and peace. You are allowed to live this way. You are allowed to be kind to yourself. And when you do, you discover that love was always the strength guiding you home. Now I want to sit with you here in the quiet that follows understanding. There is nothing you need to remember perfectly. There is nothing you need to hold tightly. When kindness has been spoken inwardly for a while, it begins to remain on its own. It no longer needs to be practiced with effort. It becomes the tone of your inner world. You may notice that you are no longer listening for fault in yourself. The habit of scanning for what is wrong begins to soften. When it does arise, you meet it with patience instead of alarm. This is how you know something has truly changed. You are no longer at war with your own mind. Kindness, when it is lived rather than repeated, creates a deep sense of belonging within yourself. You no longer feel as though you must earn rest or prove worthiness. You simply allow yourself to be where you are. This allowance is one of the greatest forms of healing. Life begins to feel less demanding when you stop demanding so much of yourself. The pressure to constantly improve loosens. In its place, there is a steady willingness to learn, to grow, and to rest